In its first meeting under Democratic control, the House Intelligence Committee relaunched its Russia investigation with a new focus on President Trump's finances and his family business. The committee also voted to give the special counsel transcripts of all the interviews from its last probe, including testimony from Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr., Hope Hicks, and Steve Bannon. Macedonia has been invited to become NATO's 30th member, and all it had to do was agree to change its name. Greece, which has its own region called Macedonia, promised to stop blocking the country from its attempts to join if it changed its name to the Republic of North Macedonia, which it's agreed to do, just as soon as Greece votes in favor of it joining. Meeting in Brussels with Ireland's Prime Minister, European Council President Donald Tusk had a message for certain Brexiteers.
I've been wondering what that special place in hell looks like for those who promoted Brexit without even a sketch of a plan how to carry it safely.
They will give you a terrible job with the British. But no, you're not.
President Trump stopped by a meeting of an international coalition devoted to fighting ISIS this afternoon and told them their work was pretty much done. ISIS is no longer a meaningful threat, and it's time for American troops to come home.
The ISIS caliphate has been decimated. The United States military, our coalition partners, and the Syrian Democratic Forces have liberated virtually all of the territory previously held by ISIS in Syria and Iraq.
But a new report from the Pentagon contradicts that, warning that a U.S. withdrawal could invite an ISIS resurgence. Withdrawing troops would also, ironically, cause serious problems for the American ally Trump mentioned by name, the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces.
We've been in northeastern Syria for nearly a month now, and everywhere we've been, we've seen tremendous anxiety about Trump's decision to pull US troops out of Syria. US troops here are supporting local fighters from the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF. The SDF want America to stay. They're worried that as soon as US troops pull out, Turkey will invade, forcing out the local Kurdish-led administration here, as well as hundreds of thousands of Kurdish and Christian civilians. That's what happened when Turkish troops and their local proxy militias invaded the Kurdish region of Afrin last spring. The commander of this last operation against Islamic State is himself from Afrin, and he's concerned about the American pullout.
يعني بيوستا واجب يكون أخلاقية جرك في حملة دوامك. في حملة نيفيدو ناهلن آن في شهر نيفيدو ناهلن يعني تشاو أمريكا ودنيفي ريدا بيلي ودرباز بوهين داعش خلاص نيك.
Do you think the international community has a responsibility to protect you as a result of that?
يعني أجر تركي مدخلة بك عينه وك عفرني وري. نا إراديك ما هي قوتك ما العرضها هي يعني أما أجر تركي مدخلة بك وقوتك يوصى الفدري أولي كارنبا قوتك الفدري بدوست خوي الفدري سالعرض رشاردك أولي كارنبا يعني ولاتن جواك نبنة توي آن سيستم نبنة توي جاوه خوش بگرن يعني سيناريو عفرني دوباره ببه.
And that's where the coalition comes in. The US wants regional allies like Saudi Arabia or NATO allies like France and the UK to step in, protecting the Kurds from Turkey and maintaining pressure on the Islamic State, which still hasn't been fully defeated and is already reforming itself as an underground insurgency. But without US commitments to provide logistics support and air cover, that's probably a step too far for American allies to manage on their own. And that could force the Syrian Kurds to make an almost unthinkable decision, give up the regional autonomy they fought so hard for and ally with the Assad regime just for survival.
President Trump had a lot of lines in his second State of the Union that spoke to the idea of unity.
Together we can break decades of political stalemate. We can bridge old divisions, heal old wounds.
But his rhetoric on immigration wasn't meant to reach across the aisle. It was designed to drive home the message he campaigned on and has stuck to in his first 2 years in office: build the wall.
In the past, most of the people in this room voted for a wall, but the proper wall never got built. I will get it built.
The fact that Trump dug in made him the perfect foil for the man giving the Spanish language response.
When the Democrats tapped California Attorney General Xavier Becerra for the Spanish language rebuttal to the State of the Union, he chose to give the speech at his old high school in Sacramento.
There he is. Hello, sir.
Back again.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for choosing McClatchy and coming back home.
Becerra was an obvious choice. He's the son of Mexican immigrants. He represented a heavily Latino district for 24 years in Congress.
Thanks, everybody, for being here.
And as California's Attorney General, he's already sued the Trump administration 45 times over healthcare, the environment, and most importantly, immigration.
20 seconds.
Trump made Becerra's job easy by saying exactly what everyone expected him to say on immigration.
Buenas noches.
All Becerra needed to say to the millions of Latino voters watching live on Telemundo and Univision was, "We are not Donald Trump."
Esta noche era para convencernos que de ahora en adelante paraba el engaño y la disfunción y que empezaba la cooperación. Lo que escuchamos fue el cansado refrán de construir muros.
He spoke for almost 13 minutes, long enough to rail against the president, but not long enough to get into specifics about what the Democrats actually want to do about the border. Which was lucky for him, because when it comes to immigration, the party has some serious internal divisions to work through. The Democratic Party is obviously trying very hard to draw a stark contrast with Trump on immigration.
It's not tough.
Sure, but the Democrats share a lot of the responsibility for militarizing the border, for dramatically expanding the immigration enforcement system to the point where we see it today. Do you think that the Democrats are doing enough to reckon with that fact?
David, that's a great question because it's similar to the question about criminal justice reform, 1993-94, when the crime bill came up. And I had just gotten in Congress in that time. Bill Clinton really pushed it. And a lot of folks now who voted for it have said, we regret that we did that because it moved towards quickly incarcerating young people, mostly young men of color. Things change. Places and people evolve. Are there things that people in office who are Democrat or Republican look back at and say, I wish I'd done it differently? No doubt.
To this day, though, or at least until very recently, Democratic leadership is still in favor of additional funding for border security measures, additional DHS funding, that kind of thing. So that doesn't necessarily indicate regret, at least on the part of the leadership.
And I am as well, depending on where it goes. I think we have an obligation as a sovereign nation to provide security at our borders, at our ports of entry.
So what do you make then of the sort of ascendant left wing of the Democratic Party that's saying no additional funding for DHS, no additional funding for immigration enforcement whatsoever?
There's no area of national law enforcement that's received more money than Customs and Border Patrol and Immigration Customs Enforcement, the immigration law enforcement agencies. Nobody gets the kind of money they get. There is a point where it is going overboard. But that doesn't mean, for example, that we wouldn't want to invest in tunnel detection devices or drone technology or the things that let us be smarter and more humane in the way that we do things.
So when people say abolish ICE, how do you feel about it?
Heck no. No.
There aren't many state attorneys general who have offices in Washington or who have a national political profile. Is there a risk that devoting so many resources to the fight against Trump comes at the expense of other fights that should be taking place here in California?
David, I'll respond to that by saying, can you think of a fight here in California that we haven't taken on, that we should? It's not suing Donald Trump or taking Donald Trump on for the sake of taking on Donald Trump. It's because Donald Trump is trying to do something to Californians that would be detrimental to our prosperity, to our well-being, and it's my obligation to defend the people, the values, and the resources of the state.
Los Estados Unidos seguirá siendo el dueño del sueño americano. Buenas noches y que Dios los bendiga. Breathe, breathe.
In late December, workers arrived for one of their final shifts at La Escondida, a coal mine that's been open for 80 years.
Pasar está pasado ya, está acabado prácticamente. Queda en todo Castilla y León, es la única que queda.
Coal is dying in every Western country, replaced by cleaner and cheaper energy. But Spain didn't just let its coal industry die, it euthanized it. In October, the government signed an agreement with coal companies and miners' unions to close almost all of the country's mines by the end of 2018.
Sí, se echarán a la gente y la empresa cerrará. Mi padre trabajó aquí 29 años. Y mi abuelo se jubilara de enfermedad de esta mina también. Y no quise estudiar y para la mina. Con 17 años ya te digo que estaba aquí.
This was Tonio's last Monday at work, ever. The phase-out agreement sets aside 250 million euros to make the transition fair for miners by funding retirements, retraining, and environmental restoration. At just 43, Tonio took early retirement. Internationally, the deal was praised, but there wasn't the same enthusiasm among the roughly 1,500 Spanish miners who lost their jobs. What do you think were the major victories that you were able to obtain through the negotiations?
Bueno, victorias no hemos tenido ninguna, porque al final todo vamos encaminado a que el empleo le vamos a perder. Lo que la victoria, por considerarlo de alguna manera, es que tenemos la protección de aquellos trabajadores que trabajaban en la minería y que van a tener una prejubilación y unas bajas incentivadas con el fin de que puedan tener una nueva oportunidad.
Historically, what has the relationship been between the mining industry with regards to your union and the federal government?
Toda la nación tiene que tener un tratamiento especial con estos trabajadores que han estado participando en todas las revoluciones industriales. Ahora nos encontramos en una situación totalmente distinta, donde a través de los acuerdos de París, con lo cual entendemos que la descarbonización es necesaria.
Why not fight it more?
Yo creo que el sector de la minería es un sector de los que más ha luchado. Tú no puedes estar luchando toda la vida, porque tenemos lo que decíamos, el carbón es malo, es sucio, y la gente no quiere carbón. No tienes apoyo en los partidos políticos. Y lo que sí tenemos unos trabajadores con una fecha de caducidad.
Wherever there's coal, miners are mythologized. Coal miners and the sacrifices they've made to power the economy become enshrined in a country's identity. And there's a special relationship between them and the government. And when coal jobs disappear, that creates a gaping hole in the local economy. Which leads to the question, what do we owe people when their once essential jobs become obsolete?
Exigimos al gobierno de España y a la Junta de Castilla y León reindustrializar nuestra comarca y dar oportunidad de empleo a los miles de trabajadores y trabajadoras que lo han perdido o están a punto de perderlo.
In coal communities, there's a sense that the government has to step in and replace what's lost. The transition plan promises to create jobs with public money, but Spain has tried this before. It's put millions of euros into regional development, and these efforts haven't replaced lost jobs or given young people a reason to stay.
Con la prejubilación sí te queda para vivir y queda solucionado. El problema es la gente que no llega a la prejubilación ni a una baja incentivada ni al trabajo, vaya.
¿Y usted?
Yo me cogí una baja incentivada.
Y nada.
¿Nada?
Casa.
¿Nada?
Nada. Cero. Hotel.
Igual que él, cero.
Cero. Nada.
Cero completo.
No hay otra industria donde se pueda meter 300, 400, 500 puestos de trabajo que serían los que harían falta para que sobreviviera. Entonces, claro, parecer bien no, desde luego. Que había que colgar a algún político, más de uno.
As a temporary contractor, Enrique Fernandez da Ganzo will see no cash benefits from the deal. He doesn't believe that closing a handful of mines will deliver environmental benefits that outweigh the social consequences. For millions of coal miners in the world, it's not clear that other countries will find a better balance. One of the things that the government is saying is that they're doing this because they want to try and curb their emissions and try and do something for climate change. What's your reaction to that?
Hay que respetar que es una cosa que, vale, puede ser cierto que el cambio climático está produciéndose y está afectando. Lo que no tiene lógica es cerrar las minas aquí, estar trayendo carbón, o sea, de fuera en general, eso no tiene sentido.
In the plan that the government has signed, there are components that talk about restructuring and revitalizing these areas where the mines are closing. What do you think that'll look like in this area?
La realidad es que el dinero, siempre hay alguna rendija que se va a otras zonas y el dinero se va, aquí llegan 4 migajas para tapar la boca. Nos han vendido muy buenas señales de humo, te están pasando la mano por la espalda, pero te están dando una patada en el culo con todas las letras.
A fire in September destroyed Brazil's National Museum and the precious artifacts it once held. Investigators haven't yet named the cause, but staffers and visitors had warned for years that the building was a fire hazard. It once held records of indigenous languages that don't have a written form, the oldest human remains ever found in the Western Hemisphere, and the biggest collection of Egyptian artifacts in South America. Vice News got exclusive access to the team that's trying to save what's left.
Eu estava em casa, era domingo à noite, né? E uma colega me liga, chorando, dizendo: Cláudia, o museu está pegando fogo. Eu falei: não. Eu fui diretora por 8 anos da instituição. Assim, naquele momento, eu estava me sentindo completamente derrotada, né? O que estava me chamando a atenção? Nada. Absolutamente nada. Sabia que a destruição tinha sido muito grande. Vocês caminhando, vocês percebem, né, o grau de destruição que a gente tem aqui, mas mesmo assim algumas coisas ainda permaneceram.
Uau, eu acho que o incêndio, na verdade, ele afetou a todos muito intensamente, não só a população brasileira, mas especialmente quem trabalhava aqui, porque aqui era a casa de muita gente, né, a segunda casa de muitos. Estamos procurando aqui, na verdade, parte do acervo egípcio, da sala, né? Nós estamos trabalhando como se fosse uma escavação arqueológica mesmo. Eu acho que nunca ninguém aqui esperaria que estaria escavando um Museu Nacional.
Então, algumas delas a gente está perdendo, né? É bem triste, né? Que algumas peças a gente tira e elas viram pó na sua mão, né? Em alguns lugares da sala, a temperatura foi um pouquinho... Ela foi bem alta. Tipo, chegou a uma temperatura maior de 600 graus, assim. Então, tem vidro que derreteu, tem bronze que derreteu, estatuetas de bronze que derreteram. Em algum caso de objetos de madeira, só se preservou o carvão mesmo, né? Mas a gente está coletando para tentar dar um fim digno na peça, né? É curioso, assim, que no meio... Olha, assim, a gente está tirando vasos de 3.500 anos e no meio disso tudo a gente acaba achando às vezes umas peças assim, tipo um processador de computador, né?
Encontramos aqui agora um fragmento de metatarso do pé de uma múmia. Então, bom, tá quebrado, mas nós esperamos encontrar o resto do pé também nessa múmia. Vou criar um número pro pé da múmia. Vamos lá. AB, tô trazendo aqui para registrar. Nós temos uma equipe fazendo a documentação de tudo que chega. Se por acaso o item, a peça, não puder ser recuperado da maneira que nós gostaríamos, mesmo assim nós vamos documentar tudo aquilo para termos uma ideia do que nós temos, do que não temos mais, em que estado as coisas estão. É fundamental saber isso.
Solto já. A gente consegue tirar já. Sim. Isso aqui, então, é um fêmur de mastodonte. A gente está bem feliz de ter resgatado quase intacto, né? Tá? Realmente fraturou um pouco pelo calor, mas acho que é uma das peças que tirou mais inteiras daqui, assim. Tá muito, muito bom. Estou bem feliz.
E outras atividades, vou dar aula, vou fazer, retomar um pouquinho da minha atividade diária. Para mim é muito mais pesado do que estar aqui tentando recuperar os elementos do museu. Essa é a nossa obrigação, vir aqui recuperar aquilo que está destruído, registrar essa destruição. Então eu não consigo me imaginar em outro lugar do que aqui até isso acabar.